Shapiro. You could say the word fuck on camera. You can. It's not going to ruin your brand. People use that word. Just use the PH. Let's go.
Okay. And Fish, guess what? We are live. We have one of Hollywood's busiest talents, Romy Rosemont. We will hear what's coming up for her, and we will talk about her Facebook page where she does hilarious, weird food tastings. Hardline has some weird bets on the NFL bad boys. He will look at busts or booms from the NBA draft as well. Heidi's Hollywood is binging on a classic movie with an Oscar about the first female serial killer. And we will explore what to do now that there is no hoops, hockey, or football for the next 6 weeks. But we say maybe you should head to Jersey for some Swift swine. We'll explain. Smuck of the week. Smuck of the week got the Stanley Cup, and it didn't do very well with it. And who's got the swag is a Raiders DB who knows how to help kids sleep easy. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Daily Fish. John Daly here with Eric Snyder, a.k.a. Fish. We are coast to coast coming to you from Las Vegas and Myrtle Beach. We talk sports, entertainment, and everything in between. Fish, we got another good one for folks.
Yeah, we did this on our hook. This is how I feel right now. I'm sorry. You're not into this, but I am. Check out this icon.
You want to know something? But when we first got on and we started talking about this, Terry, my wife, saw you and she goes, he really does look sad.
When she told me when she sees you naked, she looks sad. So
well, I mean, that goes without saying. That goes without saying. All right, folks. Hey, if you got questions or comments, drop them in the chat box, or if you're not watching us live, email us at dailyfish, dailyfish1@gmail.com. Time now for the Daily Grind. Here's what we're grinding on. First, football, hockey, and basketball are dormant for at least a month, maybe more. So what do you do? So, Fish, I'm going to have you start us off, but give us something that is not binge watching, not golf, not video games, not baseball, or old NFL highlights. What do you do?
Honeydews. Married 33 years. I can get away with all the other crap when there's sports on. But now at 105 degrees, I got to fix sprinkler heads and do all that crap. I even have a gardener. I got to do drip systems. All right. I have a pool guy. I got to clean the pool again. So you have to do things around the house. You want to keep, happy wife, happy life. You know what I really do? I'm lucky. I just had a grandkid. So I go see the grandkid every day. When I'm holding a girl, and I'm singing the Raider fight song to her. I'm addicted to sports. It's nuts. And she starts crying, so I put her down. I mean, look, it is what it is. Look, you know me. I love baseball and stuff like that. But listen, Joey Chestnut ate 78 hot dogs last July 4th. Will he beat that record? Oh, boy, I can't wait for that. We got the Westminster Dog Show. Yep. You know what? Your buddy, John O'Hurley, is big into that. That's huge. So we have a couple of other events that I'll watch, but we'll get through it. We have each other. We have Heidi. We have Hardison. We have Romy on today. We have great guests. We'll get through this. There's a 12-step program, buddy.
Absolutely. So with me, it's just reading, cooking, and mixology. I just finished the book Phil by Alan Shipnick about Phil Mickelson. Great book. In the kitchen, we're preparing spaghetti squash with spinach, garlic, and Parmesan cheese. Ooh. And then some fish-like cocktails that I want to create. And I know we got a fish-like cocktail coming up a little later. So next, another place I want to go to enjoy this summer, especially now when there's no sports, is New Jersey. I want to be at the New Jersey State Fair Meadowlands to see this.
I want to see John call. I want to see John. John's an MC. He's a host. Great voice. He's done play-by-play. There's no way we can't let him get away without doing this. Sometimes it takes a while to load up, but check this out. And Hardline, hey, John, if you're watching in the queue, you're going to do...
Got it. Number one, shaken bacon. We're in the skirt. You're number two, Pedro. And you're number three. Who's going home upon number three? And they're up and racing out of time. About a length out of time with the jam of Lindsay Lohan. The race is on. The inside rail, Katie Piggy's in third. We've got Lindsay Lohan on the inside. Third turn, number three's on the outer rail. Rolling are holding strong though. Donald goes wide right there. You know he's a real ham for the camera. We've got Rolling Thunder moving into the fourth and final turn. I think Rolling Thunder's got it in the back. We've got Rolling Thunder in turn four. Into the home stretch, it's over. You open up. Oh, Donald slingshots.
No! Special thanks to Euro News for getting us that. That is, folks, pig racing. And it is huge in New Jersey. Fish. I don't think I
Hardline
could
hit it. Hardline had the 4-pig. He hit it, and he had the trifecta also. Yeah.
Well,
boy, I'll tell you what.
He might have picked it because Shaken Bacon was the lead one, so I think he knew it was going to be a good race.
You know what's funny about that? You see the crowd. Now this is something new, but some of the kids are screaming. The dad's sitting there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. That we're a glutton. No pig intended for any kind of punishment when it comes to betting. Way to go, Hardline. You had that. Good for you, buddy. What'd you lay on that? Oh shit! You made $200.
Well, here's what's really cool about it. The family that does it, they brought it over here from Great Britain about 40 years ago, and now they take them to state fairs all over the place. So one, we got to have Hardline do some props on it coming up. It's still on at the New Jersey State Fair at the Meadowlands until July 15th. So if you get a chance, take a look at it. But man, I got to tell you, that was hysterical. So I loved it. Anyway, and finally on the grind, Fish, do our egos dominate our lives too much? Slap me down here, will you?
Well, if you have a self-esteem, if you have an ego, if you have some kind of self-confidence, you have an ego. I was watching a podcast from Tony Orlando's son, Joe, and he had one of our friends of the show, been on twice, a good friend of mine, Brad Grunberg, and he said that Tom Brady, and I verified, Tom Brady has had 11 concussions. And I started to think about Sigmund Freud. I'm a learned man. Everyone thinks I'm stupid. I'm a loose cannon. I am. But I know about the id, which is power, greed, jealousy, and ego. And he said it would bring down man. And I just wonder if these athletes, I want to throw it back to you, and maybe we'll get Hardline to react to this. Why are you doing this? You have 11 concussions. Is your ego that big? Well, I figured this out, and I want your opinion on this, John. Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson said, no matter what we've done in life, and we're extremely successful in business, in restaurants, in real estate, nothing gave us a bigger high than walking into that stadium and hearing the cheers. And I think Brady's going through that. Now, who am I to say? Tom Brady's one of my – I love this guy. I love everything he represents. He's 45 years old and can throw a football a mile. But 11 concussions, and you have young kids, when does the ego stop? And when do you say, you know what? I got to go do something else. Who am I to say that? I just know me personally. If I have 2 concussions, I've had them. I play sports.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, we always talk about everybody is the hero of their own story. But if you're addicted like that, you are really going to take it to a higher level. So I agree with you 100%. And I think there's a lot of other people in our lives today. And, we talk about this. We talk about this when we talk about the news. We talk about politics, and we talk about people doing things that they want to do on their own because they have their own freedom. But you think you're the hero of your own story. And a lot of times, you're really not. So, but yeah, I think the ego's there definitely. And, there's a lot to do with, I always say that, part of the problem with what's going on today in the world is that, freedom versus the common good, and freedom's winning an awful lot. And the common good's not getting taken care of as they should. But so anyway, that's enough.
John, one last addendum to this whole thing. We want to see Tom grow and flourish into his 60s. And if you lose your ego, maybe we'll start looking like we want him to look.
How many more times do you pick that up?
I love every time I put that up, I laugh. But Tom Brady is the most gorgeous guy on the planet. I'm safe in my skin to say that. I love the guy. I love everything he represents. But we want him healthy and living his life. And I don't know if 11 concussions can get.
Well, not only that, he's going to be a broadcaster. He's going to be a broadcaster afterwards. So I want him to thrive at that too. And if he's got concussions and he has a hard time, that's not going to be good too. So, all right, and that is the Daily Grind. Hey, folks, love having you with us. Daily Fish is live on Facebook at daily.fish.5 on Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Watch us on Facebook at the Myrtle Beach Golf Channel and Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. Check us out on Daily Fish on YouTube and also Wingding TV. And hey, we're on now with Hey Vegas TV. All you got to do is go to heyvegastv.com. Also, you can listen to us. You don't have to even look at us. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, and Amazon. All right, time now for the Daily Fish Hardlines. John Hardison has the podcast, The Cost of Winning, focusing on fantasy sports and sports betting. Hardline, we need some crazy prop bets from you. Deshaun Watson has his disciplinary hearing, as you know, coming up tomorrow. Can you give us an under and over for how many games you think he will be suspended?
Yeah, guys. Thanks for having me. With everything kind of going on, it's a very closely watched situation in case of what's going to happen with him. Right now, the books got him missing 7.5 or more games at -150, 7.5 or less at +110. Personally, for me right now, I think that he's going to be at least 8 games that he's going to miss, 8 to 9. They're already going into the season with the idea that Jacoby Brissett is going to be their starting quarterback. He's already taking reps with the ones. So they're already going through the playbook with him. So I think it's almost set in stone that they're moving forward with the idea that he's going to miss at least the first half of the season. I don't know off the top of my head when the Browns bye week is, and if the earlier may be the better for that situation with them. But Jacoby Brissett's going to be the guy. The one person that I am interested in seeing is what are they going to do with Baker Mayfield? They're holding him tight. I wonder what the trade compensation package is that they're going to get for him. There are teams that are out there. We've talked about it, especially Seattle with their situation with Geno Smith or Drew Lock, who neither one of us think is a starting caliber quarterback right now in the NFL. So that's something to keep your mind on. But in terms of Watson, I think that he'll miss 8 games. I don't think he'll miss the whole season. I don't, because of everything that happened last season where he sat out. But I do think it's going to be at least 8.
Yeah, I'm thinking 8 too. That's what I had picked before, even before knowing what you were going to say. Fish, what do you think?
Well, the Browns have insurance. If it's only $1.3 million they're off the books for if he misses the entire season. I'm with you guys. I think it's a minimum of 8. I think the league is going to go for a whole year indefinite. That always gets brokered down and negotiated. I think it's 8 to 10 games. It still kind of screws the Browns over. The bottom line is this: the kid got 66 massages. Was it in a month or something like that? Is it going to happen again if it's a slap in the hand? That's what I worry about. One thing about Deshaun Watson we never talk about is what he does in the community. He's one of the biggest philanthropists, even though this is a big, dark, there's a big black mark against his on his resume. He's a guy he's going to children's hospitals every Tuesday. This is such a dichotomy in someone's personality. I worry about the kid. He's a young kid. What is he, 24?
Yeah, he's around that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless him. Let's hope it works out.
We'll see. All right. What do we got? We got the NFL draft there, Fish. What do you think?
Well, in NFL draft, I screwed up the NFL draft. I never knew who the bust or the sleepers were. So I'll go to the NBA draft, and I'm going to ask you, Hardline. Give me. Yeah. I mean, I'm bailing you out. You know what? Daily. Just say we fucked up. It's the NBA draft.
we screwed up. We screwed up.
And even though Hardline was brilliant in the pig races and made some money, and he's buying me dinner next week, we're going to go with the NBA draft. Give me your bust and give me your sleepers in the first round.
You know, when I looked at the pig race, the only thing I could think of when they said Jersey was Uncle Puss from The Sopranos. just running around. I was like, oh, it's Uncle Puss. God, it's Uncle Puss running around. This is Jersey for you.
Oh my Lord. It didn't end well for him, but go ahead.
Yeah, and didn't end well for the pig either, said the bacon. So in terms of the NBA draft, man, there's some teams that I really like, man. And in terms of my boom team for this year, I really like the New Orleans Pelicans. I love what Willie Green did with that team last year. If they can get Zion back slim and healthy with Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, who they made the trade for, in the emergence of Herb Jones, I really think that they could cause some issues this year in the NBA. They were a good team. They made the play in. I think that that's a team to really keep your eye out for this year, especially what David Griffin's been able to do with that roster.
Cool. You got a team you think that busted?
Yeah. So, I know I reserve my right to change this later, but as of right now, with everything going on, I have to say it's the Brooklyn Nets. There are a lot of questions with this organization. Wow. A lot of questions going on with the contracts that they have. We don't know what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving. He seems to want out. We on the 29th, we'll figure out if he's going to opt in for his player option and they do a sign and trade, or are they just going to let him walk. With that being said, Kevin Durant's already putting feelers out, according to reports, about maybe looking at his options of going to other teams. And those are 2 big stars that you spend a lot of money on over the last few years. And I mean, look, Kevin Durant's only in the 2nd year of his contract that he has with Brooklyn. So that's a big loss. We don't know what's going to happen with Joe Harris. We don't know what's going to happen with Seth Curry, if they're going to be back in time. And with Ben Simmons having back surgery this offseason, there are a lot of questions with this team. And I don't see them being a 1 or 2 seed in the NBA. And I mean, look at last season. They were a 7th seed and everybody thought they were going to make a run. Even everybody at the network thought they were going to make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah. All right. Hey, some other crazy prop bets. The NFL has told all their players training camp is in 3 weeks. Go out, sow your oats now, then be ready. So the question to you, Hardline, is how many NFL players do you think will be in trouble or arrested from now until mid-July?
Well, with the statements, go out and sow your oats. That's leading it right there. I'm gonna guess 4.5. I'm gonna go 4.5. I think that there's gonna be somebody that gets caught doing something stupid. Going into the season, Calvin Ridley was last season when, I got to take some time away from the team and reconfigure, and he's betting on his phone games on the Atlanta Falcons. So, there's teams that are going to be, there are players that are going to do things that are stupid, things that are childish because they're young. I'll go with at least 4.5.
You're everything this kid says. What I got to say, right? I'm going to say this. We have a national audience. Look, I have a man crush on you, Hardline. You're just great. You got great skin, great disposition, and you nailed the goddamn Stanley Cup. You had it. You said on Saturday, guys, bet the Avalanche. What a great game. Daly and I were going crazy over the last 3 minutes of that game. Kudos to you, Hardline. And how much money did you make?
I made some pretty good money. I made some pretty good money on this one. That's why I told everybody, make sure you take the money line. I didn't think that they were going to cover the 1.5. I think it was just going to be a back and forth game between them. And if you bet that they scored within the first 5 minutes, then you made some money in the first 10 because it went quick. It went real quick the other day. But you know what? As much as I hate the Avalanche, as I said it over and over again, they're the best team in hockey. I mean, they built that roster. And I mean, they gritted it out. They grinded it out the whole game. I mean, even at the end where, and I think it's such a poetic moment of the player falls down and they're picking him up to throw him off the ice so they don't get another too many men on the ice call. And I mean, that's the sum of their whole season, which is grit and grind. We're going to get this done. There's no way, with as far as we've been, with as much as we've done, that we're going to let Tampa Bay even think they have a shot of winning this.
And you know who did that, Daly? That was Nate McKinnon, who's up MVP type players. Is bringing Lednikov off the ice so they don't get a penalty for having 2 men on the ice. That's a winner. That's just a winning organization.
And what was amazing about it, and I don't think I've ever seen this before, was a shot from the puck took off his skates. And that's why he couldn't skate off. He wasn't hurt. He just couldn't skate because he didn't have any runners there. And it was like, that was amazing. And you could hear the fans like, too many men on the ice, because that's what happened in game 4. So, good stuff. That was, it was great. And sorry to see hockey's going. Looking forward to it coming back.
But the biggest thing, though, is, and I tell anybody this, don't count Tampa Bay out. Look, they lost one. There are teams that come back. We saw this with the Warriors. I think they're a great team. I think they're a great organization. Especially with everything going on, that is a team to keep your eye on for the next 2 years, because I do think that they'll be back.
I agree with you. And then also, if you think about the whole salary cap, they had to redo a lot of that team going into this season. And so the fact that they did that. So I agree with you. I think they're going to be at the top of it. And that's for sure. All right. And that is the Daily Fish Hardline with John Hardison of the Cost of Winning podcast. You can find him here with us every week, but he's also on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Okay, with Hardline. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you next week.
See you guys next week.
Oink, oink, buddy.
Yep. All right.
Make it on Hardline.
Yeah. Need a great golf getaway? The Myrtle Beach Golf Trail has dozens of courses along the Carolina coast. Set up an entire trip for yourself, your family, or a bunch of friends. The site is myrtlebeachgolftrail.com. You can play there year round. All right. Now it is time for something fishy. What do we have here, Fish? I have no idea what you're going to tell me.
Sense of urgency. I speak for all. I speak, like, when we do the show, we have a queue on my icon. I can see Heidi, beautiful Romy, beautiful Hardline, yourself. You're hosting the show for the schmuck, right? I want to see if you guys, by nodding, all feel like you feel like I do sometimes. Do you ever feel like you're that one schmuck that when you're in line at a convenience store, the clerk is talking and having a conversation with the person in front of you, and you want to get the hell out of there and pay for your gas? You're at the supermarket, the same goddamn thing. That you're waiting in line, and everyone's a friend of the clerk. It's just aggravating. There's no sense of urgency. We talked about this on one of our previous podcasts, and I'm timing it. How about when you're in line with your car and you're waiting for that left-hand arrow or right you to make that left turn, and that car in the first car waiting to go is stalling. You know why they're stalling? Because they're on their cell phone. And you miss that light and you got to get somewhere because you got to take a leak. All right. I feel like I'm that guy the last couple of weeks. And everywhere I'm going daily, I'm waiting in line and everyone's having a conversation. I'm at Target to get some baby formula and the clerk is having to catch up with the girl. Don't they care that what happened to customer service? You know, I'm in the customer service industry. I just don't get it. There's no sense of urgency anymore. It's not even fishy. It just stinks. It just stinks. And how do we fix this thing? It's not even funny. It just happens. And I bet you Romy's felt it. I bet you Hart's felt it. Heidi's going like that. And I guarantee you, John, you felt it. Have you felt it recently? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's funny when I'm talking to Terry, my wife, she's calling me while she's going between clients. She goes, "You're not going to believe this person's going 15 miles an hour in front of me." And so it's like every time. So, a lot of it could be you got old age, you got people who are just like you're saying, not paying attention. So, yeah, I agree with you. And there has to be
it's the clerks I'm pissed off at. Excuse me, John. It's the clerks that sit there and feel like they can have a conversation, Oh, I got a better one for you. I'm an In-N-Out Burger. And I'm in line, and the guy's sitting there talking. He's showing pictures on his cell phone of his crossover step making baskets. I mean, I want my burger and fries, the animal fries. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, come on. You got to know that Fish is behind you. They should know that. All right. And that is something fishy. Still ahead, our Schmuck of the Week, along with Who's Got the Swag, and our special guest is actress Romy Rosemont. Time now for Heidi's Hollywood. She is Heidi Holliker, actor and producer who is deep into the entertainment scene for us every week. Heidi, you are binging on a powerful and frightening film from almost 20 years ago. It's called Monster. Yeah. And it's about the first female serial killer played by Charlize Theron, who won an Oscar for the role, and it launched also a makeup artist. Fill us in on, as we would say in New England, Monster.
Monster. Okay. Yes, you're right. Charlize Theron starred in this with Christina Ricci, who played her lover. And in 2004, the film came out. It was based on the true story of Aileen Wuornos. And in 1990, so she was, as you said, the first, pretty scary. That's Charlize. So anyway, she was the first female serial murderer ever convicted. In the trial, she was being convicted of murdering one man, but she admitted to murdering 7 men. And then in 2002, she was executed in Florida. And she there in the movie, you do have some empathy for this character. It's really shocking. It's beautifully portrayed by Charlize and Christina Ricci, and the makeup transformation, which actors and actresses go through. This particular one is to my heart because Tony G, the BAFTA award-winning, that's the British Academy Awards, the BAFTA award-winning makeup artist Tony G created that makeup, and she and Charlize worked together to create this, to take this brilliant, gorgeous creature and make her Aileen Wuornos.
And looks nothing like her. You're right, Heidi. It looks nothing like her. A brilliant job.
You have to keep looking back.
You can't no, zero.
Yeah. And Tony used Charlize's face. She did some appliance work, but she used a lot of airbrushing, and Charlize gained weight, 30 or 40 pounds. And this film, Tony didn't, again, really one of my best friends did not want to take it for various reasons, and mainly money. And I'm known as being a tad bit sweetly pushy, and it changed the trajectory of her entire career. She went on to work with Charlize again on another film, and then she has been working with Angelina Jolie, designing her makeups for the last 15 films. And right now is on location doing another Angelina Jolie movie. So I couldn't be prouder.
I agree with you. I got to tell you, her performance reminded me, and these are more recent ones, Sandra Bullock in The Unforgivable and Renee Zellweger as Judy Garland in Judy. And, different roles, but just taking a real life person and then completely recreating them or repossessing them, I think is the best way. So I thought it was absolutely fabulous. Yeah.
Heidi, real quick, that Elvis came out, and Tom Hanks's. You can see Hanks, but he's really Colonel Parker. Heidi, did you see Cheney? Christian Bale looks
Yes.
exactly like Dick Cheney. I mean,
Yes.
you see a picture of Dick Cheney. Christian Bale's this gorgeous kid, and he looks like, you know, Dick Cheney. He looks like a squirrel. I mean, it was crazy.
It's extraordinary. I was actually going to refer to that too, but I was focusing really on more monster-esque characters, and I have a couple more. Bill Skarsgård, who there we go. He transformed into the character Pennywise in It, and that makeup was created by a man named Sean Sansom, who is an Emmy Award-winning makeup artist. And then you have Heath Ledger as the Joker.
Let me see Bill Skarsgård so you can see. You saw Pennywise. That guy, Heidi, that guy, gorgeous kid, looks like this guy.
Yeah.
And then where do you want to go from here?
Let's look at Heath Ledger and the Joker. And that makeup was created by an Oscar-winning makeup artist named John Caglione Jr. And he didn't win for this makeup, but he did win for doing the Dick Tracy makeups. So it's a very the makeup special effects makeup world is very, very tight, and everyone's connected in some way. But to take, and I know the process, having worked for Rick Baker, I know it's a minimum 12-step process. So I've seen it, I've lived it for many, many years, and it's fascinating. But especially with Tony G and Charlize Theron, because you still see her skin tone, you see the freckles. She brought out, Tony brought out, added, but brought out all the darkness, created that darkness under her eyes. You know, when you have lenses, you have Art Sakamoto did her teeth, created the teeth, and the ophthalmologist, they created lenses, and between that and the wig makers, it's such a collaboration, and it's just a beautiful thing to see and to be a part of. I wasn't a part of that particular film except for making Tony take the gig, and then Gary Oldman. I have a question for you with that, real quick. Going back to that, because you've been in there with Rick Baker. What's the average time that an actor is in the chair for? How long do you think Charlize Theron was in the chair for that? That would have been 3 to 3.5 hours.
Wow,
that's average. Yes.
Each day.
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry. Talk about Gary Oldman now?
No, and when we did Planet of the Apes, the Tim Burton one, Tim Roth, the actor Tim Roth, Michael Clark Duncan, we had actually Charlton Heston did a cameo in that role as an ape, and those makeups took 4 hours. So, and Tony G, who did Charlize's makeup and does Angelina Jolie's makeup exclusively, she headed that makeup team. So basically, in a nutshell, that means she would be at set on location at 4 a.m. running the entire teams. We had 3 teams of people making the applications, making prosthetics to go onto the faces for chimps, gorillas, orangutans, and orangutan. And that went until 2 a.m. Tony would not wrap until 2 a.m. and then start again at 4 a.m. So that was a really difficult film. But The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, we also did that one, and we had a couple of different groups handling all of the prosthetics.
Wow.
Gary Oldman.
I got a quick question for you off the grid. I got a quick question for you, because you're a Hollywood insider. You live there. You are the woman that's born and raised in Hollywood.
Well, born in Boston, raised here.
Wherever you live, we're not telling anybody, but you're an LA aficionado. I got to know this because you're going to know. What the F is going on with the Kardashians? Now Kendall is after Devin Booker, who plays with the Phoenix Suns. Pete Davidson's girl, who I love, Heidi, is going to go in the toilet because of Kim. I hear there's another Kardashian that's younger that's looking at John Hardison because he fits the right demographic. What is the pulse of the Kardashians in LA? Are they as big in LA with the tabloids? And you're inner circle. You're in the business. Yeah. You're a producer. Yeah. Are they big, or is it a farce?
I'm not saying it's a farce. They're brilliant marketers. They're brilliant marketers. They're very, very bright. They have a great momager, and they have made more money than any of us will ever see in a very long time, and good for them. I don't personally know them. I don't run into them. I don't play in the same social circles as they do.
I do.
Well, yeah. So I don't know. I don't really have an opinion of them.
Well, I just want to see, because you know everybody, and I thought, this is
Those are because I'm making films and television and that sort of thing, and they're doing various reality shows, and it's just kind of a separate world. So
world.
yeah,
world.
Kudos to them. I mean, I come on, to build that kind of brand. How many brands do they have? 20, whatever it is, to be that clever and to be able to really have your finger on the pulse of what people want. That's talent. That really is.
That is talent.
Yeah.
Yep.
John.
So,
all righty. And Heidi, we got to get going. I
just want to throw it out to one more brilliant makeup person, Greg Canham. Greg Canham did Dracula, Gary Oldman's Dracula. We may have shown earlier. He also did Benjamin Button, and that man has about 6 Oscars. So these folks are they're doing really lovely work, and they're my friends.
Tough job.
Yep.
3 hours in a chair, John. Jesus, well.
Yeah, that's
what
we need it. You and I need 3 hours in a chair. So
it's actually quite relaxing though, because it is. You sit back and it's kind of nice. So.
Well, if you were doing my makeup, it'd be relaxing. But if some guy with garlic bread's doing it, get the fuck away from me.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and that's a Rick Baker thing. Nothing. They don't eat onions. Their breath. They have the best breath in the industry. They are so conscientious of their talent. So.
All right. And that is Heidi's Hollywood. She's with us every week. Check her out on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks, Heidi.
Mwah! Okay.
And now it's time for our Schmuck of the Week. Fish, who has been schmucky this week?
You got to give me the schmuck up here. You got to give me who the schmuck is. I got to show the schmuck icon. You jump. You're a jumpy guy. Can't get you to curse, but you're jumping all over the schmuck. Now I got to find the schmuck. This is the most, Romy, Hardline, this is the most treasured trophy in sports, and these idiots, these schmucks dropped the Stanley Cup. Look at Hardline. Look at that. He's in the queue. That's a dent. What's the guy's name? Ron Pritchard. He's having a heart attack. There's a guy that makes $100,000 a year that's just alive to protect the cup. You know that he's getting crap from the NHL. I love it, Avalanche. Great win, but you're all schmucks.
Yeah. At the same time, too, that looks like a heavy cup to hold because they were holding it over their heads. So at the same time, too, but I agree with you. All right. Now, who's got the swag? Who are we toasting today, Fish?
Well, this is important to me because, I'm a diehard Raider fan, and I've given this guy shit on his play. But this is Jonathan Abram, defensive back for the Las Vegas Raiders. And he has a big heart. And he has good construction skills. You know what? He donates beds to families in need, and he builds the frames himself. The NFL safety in his foundation, called Jonathan's Journey for Better, partnered up with Sleep in Heavenly Peace for the awesome gesture, helping gift 3 beds, 3 seats, and pillows to a Las Vegas family a month. I will no longer give this kid shit. That's very valiant in my life. Very valiant in people's lives, John.
Absolutely. All right. Now our drink of the week. So we can toast Jonathan. What are we sipping here, Fish?
This is a lemonade after sex. I made this drink up in a drink contest. Lemonade after sex. Okay. Well, get what? Gin. It's vodka. So a little bit of ginger spice in there, right? We got the lemonade. John looks a little bit different because John probably has bourbon in his glass and a splash of Grand Marnier. I didn't have any Grand Marnier. I'm a schmuck. I'm schmuck of the week, but that's the way it should look. Great. Lemonade after sex. We're toasting Romy Rosemont, who's coming on the show. Yep. And Jonathan Abrams, man, that's you're building these beds and for these kids. Much props to you, brother.
Good stuff. All right. The Daily Fish Drink of the Week is sponsored by Shucks Tavern in Vegas. Great seafood and drinks in 2 locations. Head to Shucks Tavern on North Durango on the northwest side of town. And guess who you get? You get fish overnight. Say Daily Fish Podcast. You get a free drink. Do it the next day, a free appetizer. That's Shucks Tavern. Check out Shucks Tavern on Facebook. All right, let's bring in our special guest, Romy Rosemont. She is a prolific actor in many films and TV shows such as Glee, Big Sky, Million Little Things, Chicago Med, and Station 19. Plus, She does. You got the wrong one in here. Okay, we got it.
Hey,
There you go.
this
The other
drink is
two.
Yeah.
Plus, she does a great segment on Facebook called Weird Food. Romy, welcome to Daily Fish. Unfortunately, Fish was he brought in Heidi again.
Well, clearly he's got a crush on Heidi, but I'm going to take it personally.
wait a minute. That's how rumors get
You've
started.
only just met me.
Wait a minute, Romy. Lemonade after sex does not mean Heidi, okay?
I'm a tequila girl, so that vodka stuff is, I mean, what a waste. What a waste of time. Big or go home. Sorry, buddy.
Nice knowing you, Romy. See you later. No.
I want to add to Heidi's thing. Another great makeup artist was because I did a nip tuck, and the makeup team was a husband and wife team called Barry and Tom Berman, and he actually, Tom Berman worked on the original Planet of the Apes.
Wow! So a nip tuck that required a lot of makeup, I would imagine. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I was in the chair for 4 hours. Every day.
No kidding. What now? Refresh my memory. What did you do in Nip Tuck?
I was. It was suicide. It was going to be a joint suicide between me and my best friend, and he pulled the trigger and I didn't. So one half of my face was destroyed. So yeah, I mean it was, and it's true. It's like you get to sit back and you don't really have to do anything because once they're done and you look in the mirror, now you're that character. You don't have to dig deep. You don't have to do anything because you just have to imagine, holy shit. I literally they had strings to stretch my eye out. They had a mouthpiece. I mean, so makeup helps an actor a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I love your name. It's such an eclectic name. I thought of a couple avenues I could use you. Okay. I could see Anderson Cooper going from CNN and saying, when we come back from commercial break, we're going to have Romy Rosemont on. She's a senator from the state of California, and she's introducing a bill in the House Appropriations Committee on how stupid people are nowadays and how we reverted back to 1850. Then I thought about your name in the Las Vegas vernacular, and I said, could you imagine? Now appearing on stage. Well, now appearing on stage, she's the wife of Stephen Root. You've seen him in True Blood. You've seen him in Man in the High Castle. Hang on. But tonight, dancing for you at Spearmint Rhino, Romy Rosemont. Boys, get out your dollar bills.
Now, do you know because my given name is Romel and I've always been Romy unless I was in trouble. Because after Romy Schneider, who was an actress in the 60s, like the Gina Lollobrigida. And but because of the Rosemont, I've been on red carpets when people have introduced me as Rosie Rosemont. And I'm like, all right. And Roxy Rosemont, which I think would be my stripper name.
I'm in.
I love it. I love it. Hey, I want to talk about some of the other stuff you're doing, but you got to talk about what you do on Facebook. I
forget that it goes on Facebook because we kind of do it on Instagram, and I'm really sorry if you're hearing that dinging. I have no idea how to stop it because
that's all right. Don't worry about it.
And it was a long, many years ago. Some friends of mine brought me back some because I love gum, and a friend of mine brought back some gum from Japan, and I think I can say this: we got drinking is not my thing. I'm more herbal, and so my friend and I got herbed, as I like to say, and we started to eat these or taste these appalling or fantastic things. And then we just started to try to find the weirdest shit ever. And in fact, I just found something, but I didn't buy it because I had carry-on that was Bazooka bubblegum soda.
Oh.
I mean, I would do it. I would eat it. But we literally do it to entertain ourselves. And then she started to post it and people started to just say, oh my God, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And it's really hit or miss. But then I would go searching. So for that episode where we chewed the ghost pepper bubblegum balls.
Yeah.
And that's when I asked Steven to participate. And the funniest thing is literally watching us trying to get that shit off of our tongue because it was awful. It was It was mind-numbingly awful.
Oh,
Yeah.
the,
I mean, there's
the,
some there's
the
some
reactions are fabulous. I mean, just I can see. I think you're ready to throw up sometimes. To be honest.
Oh no. There are, because I tend to smell my food before I taste it. And Mara, my good friend, and is also a very talented actress, Mara Casey, who's now lives in Chicago, or she's in Chicago right now, and so we don't get to do it as much. But I actually am just laughing at her. That is what I'm doing. Literally what I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay. Why when you're not dinging, can you do me a favor and put on your acting face? Can we get John to curse? Because it's just yeah. Did you see the sound? You know?
Wait. Oh my God, I just lost you guys.
John's capable of cursing. I really don't. I don't want him to, but it'd be nice if he said the word shit or twat or something like that. Don't you think, homie?
Well, you got to start small there, Fish. You don't want to go right into the zing. You got to start small.
I want him to go top to bottom, but let's get back to you and none of that stuff, because that's not going to happen with John. You worked on, not to digress, you worked on one of my favorite shows. You worked on, no, seriously, you worked on Glee. And is it the tall act? Is it Jane Lynch? Is that her name?
Yes.
Am I losing it? Phenomenal.
No.
She's an incredible Mrs. Maisel right now.
Yeah.
What was it like working on that show? And tell us about her as far as working with her.
No, I mean, she's
a phenomenal cast.
I mean, she's amazing. I didn't really get to work with her much because my storylines were mostly with the kid who played my son, may he rest in peace, and my stepson, and Mike O'Malley, who played my husband. So they, if you weren't one of the dancers, there was only one time that I got to like do a little dance thing, except for the wedding. I did get to dance in the wedding. But Jane and I know Jane we used to go up for the same parts, which is just, I know, exactly. And in fact, I auditioned to play Sue Lester, and I was like, I literally said, it either has to be Jane Lynch or it has to be someone who looks like they used to be a cheerleader, which is not me and definitely wasn't me when the show was auditioning. So because I'd worked for Ryan Murphy before, he gave me some other stuff. And I mean, in that first episode, I had no lines. So it was just kind of like, and funny enough, I wasn't, I tend to be very self-deprecating. I wasn't in it as much as people think that I'm in it. I'm trying to option this. Oh my God.
Don't worry about it.
That's all right. It sounds like you got a Shopify account and you're selling a ton of stuff because you're on the show.
Oh my God. Exactly. Money at the same time. I'm on a game show.
There you go.
But
talk about that was a groundbreaking show. Yeah. I mean, it really, I thought, changed it. How do you position it in the history of TV?
Great question.
I think that it brought, I don't know, I would have to do the research, but definitely in a long time, it brought the marriage of kind of drama and comedy and music, and dance. But I think where it is that it gave the underdogs a voice. That's what I think that they did. And I think that they, I think that they captured it. And I mean, really the kids, even though they're now in their 30s, they were, you didn't know who any of them were. I think Lea Michele, funny enough, I had seen her the previous year in Spring Awakening. And then I knew Jane from auditions and stuff like that. And I knew her work, and Maggie Morrison was also like a singer and a dancer. But all the kids, Chris Colfer, who played my stepson, who's now, not only an amazing actor, but a brilliant New York Times bestselling author with like a series upon series of books. They discovered people. And to me, that's proof positive that you don't need big names to make good entertainment. But for some reason, the networks and the ad agencies and it's like you have to have the big names. But if you look back, most of the great shows, you didn't know who the people were, which made you get lost in the story. And it made you love the characters. You weren't be like, oh, I never thought of so-and-so playing that role. You really did get
Oh,
He
hey,
agrees.
Romy, we looked at the tote board in the back, and with the dings, we've now raised $2,132 for the show.
This
It's
is hard.
fantastic. Way to go, Romy.
And
Hey,
I'm like,
keep it up, kid. Keep
No,
the
no,
phone
but
calls going to Daily Fish at 1-800.
I know
We're
exactly.
morons.
Isn't there something? I have it silenced. So
It's okay. Hey,
Well,
Romy, I got a question for you from one of our correspondents, John Hardison. He
Uh-huh.
said you played the main character's doctor on a show called The League, and you had to save your shit in a bag. What does that mean? Were you in The League?
I did one or two episodes. I mean, honestly, I just had COVID. You cannot. I mean, I don't even know when that was. Seriously.
Well, not only that, you do so many.
I have
Yeah.
smoked way too much pot in my life. With the
You
combination
hear that, John?
to answer that. No, I
Good for you. Good for you.
have no
Good
idea.
for you. Be your bad self.
Thank you.
Go. Hey, Romy, let me go back to what you were just talking about as far as the kind of underlings getting higher up. I almost think it's kind of one of the things that I love about streaming, and Fish and I have talked about Stranger Things. And
Oh.
one of the things that we were saying was that Stranger Things, those kids are just fabulous. And I'm seeing that more on streaming now in the last 5 to 10 years. Did Glee kind of start that?
No. I mean, you can go back as far as like you take a hit like Grey's Anatomy. The only person you knew on Grey's Anatomy really was Patrick Dempsey, and that was from his romantic comedies. And Ellen Pompeo had just started. Like, I mean, it's not that she had just started, but she had a movie with Will Ferrell and the rest of it. But truly, the main cast were just good actors. I mean, Katherine Heigl came out of her, Sandra Oh came out of there, and that is a very frustrating thing as what I call myself, which is a utility actor, meaning like I've been doing this for a long time, and being and in the beginning they never knew what to do with me. Well, she's not pretty enough, but she's not character enough. She's not this enough, but she did. And you're like that's not my problem. Like, you guys can figure it out. And the industry has definitely changed, but also the industry has changed in a way that there is no longer those $15 million movies being made. So now the ones that are the big movies that are being made are the Marvel movies, the Tom Cruise movies and all that, which is the $200 million, $250 million. Yeah. But so all of the men and women is, for my concern, that we're doing the $20 million movies that, are now doing series. So it pushes everybody down a little bit. And so you're fighting for stuff that, like, I mean, there are times where I'll have an audition and I'll be like, I've done this literally 120 times. Like, look at my IMDb page. I have played that part 150 times. But it's when there's new players and the rest of it, you have to keep proving yourself. But if you have a name, I mean, I think my husband is unbelievably talented, but there's times where he doesn't have to prove himself because he was proven in the public eye. And he was proven in the public eye because he had good material. Right. And good material can elevate you because the right people are watching it, or it's just, you don't have to do any tricks when it's real.
Right. Well, but first of all, you are good looking enough. You're not as good looking as John or me, but keep trying.
No.
Look in the mirror.
Well, John, forget about it. I mean, with all due respect.
Yeah.
Oh.
What do you mean? What's wrong with this schmuck? You know what?
No.
I'm the Hebrew version of John.
No, with all due respect, this putz is fantastic, but John Daly, I mean, really.
This putz is fantastic.
It's like,
I love it.
I met him like 20 years ago, and it literally has not aged a second.
No. We went to dinner with him and his wife, and my wife couldn't look. My wife couldn't look at him. I said, "What's wrong with you?" She goes, "He's so good looking." I said, "Well, I'm leaving you for him." So that's the reason we're having this dinner. Romy, you mentioned your husband Stephen Root, who was a guest on our show, one of the best shows we ever had. Big fan of the guy. I know a lot of his work. So when you take up, isn't it great to have a guy that you live with and been together so long? So when you have an acting job or an audition, you can run it by him and go through the sides and stuff like that. He doesn't help you. You don't really.
No,
So
I
how does
tried.
what's that aspect though? What's that like?
Honey? Okay, he must be all the way downstairs. No, and I say this to him. He is one of the worst readers. I've literally, because now it's all on tape, right? You can't, which is another, thorn in my side, is that now you have to almost pay to audition. But there are times where he'll be like, I mean, it's like, I got to read this. I mean, who am I? I'm like, who gives a shit who you are? I'm auditioning. There was one time I so appreciate it. Or there are times where I'll say, you read it. You read the part I'm auditioning for and let me hear your take on it. And, so he'll help me in those ways. But we really, our approach to it is so different that, our approach is very, very different.
How did you guys meet? I mean, I've known you, I think it's well over 20 years.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? Did you guys meet on the set somewhere?
No, so a friend of mine, one of my closest friends was, had a guest star role on a sitcom that Steven was doing called Ladies Man with Alfred Molina and Sharon Lawrence and Betty White and Dixie Carter, Kaylee Cuoco. So unbelievable cast. Not a very good show, but an unbelievable cast. And I went to see my friend Rusty, and I also went with another friend, and my friend Eileen and I were in the audience. Rusty's stuff finished, and I turned to my friend and I said, I'm done. Let's go. We go, well, I just want to say goodbye to Fred Molina, who was the lead, who was a friend of hers. And so I said, okay. And then Steven walked out because he was in the next scene. He was about to start. And I was a huge news radio fan, huge, huge. And he walks on and I go, oh my God, that's Jimmy James. And I don't get starstruck. I was raised in the entertainment industry. Like I respect what people do, but I don't get like, oh my God. So I was like, oh my God, that's Jimmy James. And I said, oh, Jimmy James is kind of cute in a dorky sort of way. And my friend said, oh my God, I just met him at an audition. He's so lovely. I'm going to go say hi. And I go, please don't. I just want to go. And as she started to go, we collided. She tripped me by accident. And so instead of just like ignoring it, I turned it into like a pratfall, while there was a taping going on. And literally like inches from Betty White's chair. And that caught his eye. So we started a conversation. And then 2 months later, my friend Rusty, it was her last episode, and she said, it's Steven's birthday. Come and, we're going to go out for drinks. And I said, okay, sure. And here's when I realized he didn't really have any friends. What? And so this is where tequila came in. Honestly, at our so-called wedding, which we eloped, I did a shout out to Silver Patron because I really think that's what I mean, I could go home with anybody. I just happened to go home with him. Yeah.
It's funny. What you just said is so apropos. You talked about Grey's Anatomy and Patrick Dempsey. You just bring up a show and you named all those wonderful talents, Romy, that were on Ladies Man, and you said Kaylee Cuoco. Look how she's blown up. Yeah. And she was probably the least known person on that show. So you're right. I mean, now she's doing flight attendant.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy business, isn't it? Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember she told me a story years ago where she said, she was like it took 3 times for her to get Big Bang Theory.
Wow. Like
it wasn't just a, kind of you test and you go, and she got it. And she's so fantastic. She's so smart. She's such a great, she's young. She's good. I mean, it's like the cream definitely rises to the top.
Sure does. Do you real quick? Do you share a love of sports? Like, I forgot, John. Is he an LSU fan?
No,
okay,
Florida.
No.
Florida.
I know it's somewhere in the Southeast. Do you share a love of sports with your husband?
Not at all. I mean, I enjoy playing sports, but I don't enjoy. Here's the issue. I feel really bad for the losers, so it makes me very uptight when the losers are, whatever they're losing. I'm not around when there's a Gator game on. I leave the house.
Yeah.
He scares the dogs. It's just not even worth it. Now, this past year, a friend of mine works for the Chargers, and he gave us tickets for Steven's birthday. And because where our seats were, I could actually really see what was going on. I got more into it.
No.
And then he's a golfer, and the last time I played golf was on our honeymoon and I played 18 holes. And that was the last time I did it. But as he says, because I always say to him, I'm not going to go seek out golf, but if you want to play, and I mean, what he says, I have a natural like affinity. It's probably just aggression for hitting the ball. Fucking put everybody, in the GOP's face on that thing. And so, so I don't. And he watches everything. He'll watch tennis. I mean, he'll watch, God knows what.
He is a sports nut. And to be honest with you, the reason why we met was because of golf. He and I ended up playing in the Bing Crosby tournament together. We were paired together as a team. Yeah. Hey, we've got about less than a minute left. What's coming up for you that people should be looking for? What are you going to be playing soon?
I mean, I have to say that I've had stuff that did, but right now I'm waiting for my next gig. I mean, I literally like Chicago Med and Station 19 and A Million Little Things, all that they finished their seasons. So the Chicago Med, which was really fun, that was a one and done. But A Million Little Things goes back up I think they start shooting in September. But you never know. As a recurring character, it's up to the writers.
Yeah, so, and usually start hearing in mid-July, right? Because you're kind of on hiatus, like everybody.
No. Else. I mean, now it's like there is no pilot season anymore. There is no stuff like that because streaming and the rest of it. But no, I mean, for a recurring character, you find out, like they'll pin you for an episode, which means in their outline they want you in there, but they have it. It's got to be this length of time and da. So it's only if they have the time to have that character. I mean, there's so many factors in doing that, and especially in a show that's been on for many years.
Okay, so obviously a lot of people go to IMDb. Where would they go to see what else Romy Rosamond is doing?
IMDb. I'm not one who has or Instagram or whatever, but Instagram is just me posting things, pictures of my dogs, or political stuff, or food videos, or things like that.
And Archie is your dog, so everybody should go and see Archie.
He's very sweet.
He looks sweet. He looks great.
God. He did bite my sister in the face, though, so not so.
What?
Okay. Well,
wait a minute. Wait, John, before we go, with the final tally from the producers,
yes,
Romy Rosamond has raised $3,782.
You're welcome.
For silver tequila and the herb of her choice. We're donating it to you. Take Steven out, learn sports, and use that money and have a great dinner and drink. Drink a little vodka.
Absolutely.
Tequila. My God, I can't.
All right. Romy, thank you so much. You've been great. Had a great time. We've been talking to Romy Rosamond, and don't call her Rosie. So, prolific actor, many films, many shows. She was in Glee. You're going to see her in Chicago Med. You'll see her in A Million Little Things, all that. Romy, thank you so much. Appreciate it. You're great.
Take care.
Nice to meet you.
You got it.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, Fish and I are going to wrap things up, give you a sneak peek at our next show. But first, we want you to check out Hope for the Warriors. They have a big celebrity golf event coming up August 27th to 29th. It will be in Wallace, North Carolina, near Wilmington. And Hope for the Warriors works with our military warriors who are getting wounded. They get them healthy. They're part of their families. They get them into the community. It's a great charity. And again, it's hopeforthewarriors.org. Folks, thanks for being with us. Remember, Daily Fish is live from Myrtle Beach and Las Vegas on Mondays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. We're on Facebook at daily.fish.5, plus the Myrtle Beach Golf Channel and Myrtle Beach Grand Strand Life. Catch us on YouTube, Wingding TV, HeyVegasTV.com, and listen to us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Stitcher, and Amazon. You can write to us at dailyfish1@gmail.com. We went a little bit over. Hey, folks, no show next week because it's 4th of July. So we're going to go enjoy ourselves and definitely do that. But anyway, great show. That was a ton of fun. Great job, you guys. And Romy was so much fun. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's amazing. I brought Romy on and it looked like Heidi. What is that? I thought being in the makeup chair, Heidi, for 3 hours. That was
Well,
crazy.
we got Heidi on the phone. She was on the phone while we brought her on. Go,
And I'm saying,
what's Romy on the phone?
Why is this Romy on
I
the phone?
can get off the phone.
Hey.
Business.
I want to wish you guys the greatest July 4th. Happy, healthy.
Hey,
I love all you guys.
Same.
I'm saying this to everyone. We got a great thing going here. And from Daily Fish, everyone out there, safe and healthy July 4th from the entire crew.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We'll go to Hardline first, and then Heidi and you say what you got to say about July 4th. We'll get out of here. Hardline.
No, everybody stay safe. Everybody have fun. Make sure to hydrate, especially because it's hot outside. I'll be shooting off fireworks, running around, grilling. So the typical American 4th of July, lights of fireworks and run. Hopefully I don't have any backsplash.
Yeah, I'll be indoors, staying safe, not near any fireworks, and prepping for my shoot next month. So happy to have all that. Maybe I'll have a side of something in the fridge that I'll find to eat. I don't know.
Nice. Fish, what
But
do you
I'm
got?
grateful.
I'm gonna take this out. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I got a new show. I just thought off the top of my head. I'm gonna be at Hardline's house on July 4th. Okay, we have a new show like I Spy with Cosby and Robert Culp. It's gonna be the Negro and the Hebrew. So we're gonna have a great time.
Politically not completely correct, but let's see.
Yeah, fuck cancel culture.
Let's
I'll go
see.
back to the 70s.
Let's
Well, I am
talk
what I am,
story.
and he is what he is, and he's a brother. So, John, what are you doing on July 4th?
What do you think? Golfing,
Golfing.
eating, and drinking. Golfing, eating, and drinking. That's what I'm going to do. It's hot, and I'm going to stay hydrated, like Hardison
Stay
said.
hydrated. Whew.
So,
Smart water. Smart water is
Absolutely.
my go-to.
all right, guys. Happy 4th.
Thank
see
you.